Hey guys, welcome back to RHR Jen. I'm so glad you're here. Guys, I'm so excited. You get to see the next part of my sit down with John Witherspoon. We had so much fun talking through all the Harry and Meghan drama, getting his takes on things, and really just everything from Andrew and Fergie and Harry and Meghan's behavior and how King Charles is handling it and Prince William and everybody. So we really go into a lot of good stuff here. Make sure you check out all of our parts to this sit down because we really had a lot of fun talking this stuff out. And again, thank you so much to John Witherspoon for taking your time with us, answering our questions, and just being so thoughtful about everything. Make sure you give him a follow. He's at Witherspoon DC over on Instagram. And as soon as he makes any kind of announcements about starting up a channel, I will for sure let you know. Thank you so much. So, John, another thing that you had pointed out that I thought was such an interesting topic, and that's Archwell. And I get a lot of comments and I hear a lot of things, and maybe you can shed a little light on this if you're able to. And that has to do with Delaware and that 95% charity rule. Can you talk us through that a little bit and what's going on there?
Yeah, sure. I think there's a ton of misinformation floating around out there
Okay.
about Delaware and why Archwell is incorporated in Delaware.
Okay.
Delaware, for a very long time, has been a very friendly to business place to incorporate. And without going into all the legal ins and outs of it, you can incorporate a business for the most part wherever you want. Delaware does not charge sales tax. It has some very advantageous tax arrangements, which is why so many people register their watercraft in Delaware.
Oh, okay.
That's why you see a lot of the time, if you see an oil tanker from ExxonMobil, invariably the home port will be Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
So it's very advantageous. If you ever are on an airplane and you look at the state where it's registered with the Federal Aviation Administration, but it's also invariably registered with a bank. And there's always a card if you ever look when you get inside an airplane. Invariably, it's right inside the door when you first get on. There's always some connection to Delaware there. So anyway, the point being, Delaware is a very popular place to register businesses because the courts, the business law, et cetera, everything just makes it super easy and super smooth to do your incorporation there. However, you also have to register as a charity in a place like California. And my understanding is that Meghan and Harry have registered Archwell. It's incorporated in Wilmington, in Delaware, but it's also registered as a charitable organization in California.
Okay.
But here's why none of this really even matters. And people have said, oh, everybody goes to Delaware because you can put 95% of your receipts toward your expenses and only give 5% to your charitable work. Okay. Here's why that doesn't make any sense. The elephant in the room for all of this is the Internal Revenue Service. You have to have, in most cases, what's called a 501c3 registration with the Internal Revenue Service, which is part of the Department of the Treasury in the United States. They are the people that give you your tax exemption. And in fact, a lot of entities, let's say your Ford Motor Company, just as a hypothetical. If Ford Motor Company says, hey, we want to give some money to Archwell, invariably the first conversation point is Ford Motor Company wants to see your 501c3 certification. And if you can't provide that, well, guess what? Ford Motor Company is not going to give you $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever amount of dollars it is that they were thinking of. Again, the relevance of the Internal Revenue Service is that you cannot use a charity effectively as a money laundering operation. If they find out that you have been doing that, they will not only revoke your charitable designation, but they will also potentially start legal proceedings against you. And there are any number of examples of this over time that have occurred where, unfortunately, it happens in a lot of cases with religious organizations.
Oh.
And people say, "Oh, I want to start up a church of whatever," which you're entitled to do. But then they come to find out that the person who is the head of the organization is living in a multi-million-dollar mansion, or they're flying around in private jets, or they're driving Rolls Royces or whatever. And it's like, well, where did all this money come from? Oh, well, people sent us donations thinking that they were going to support this religious entity. And lo and behold, some of the money went into the religious entity, but a lot of it effectively went into making the top people have a cushier, more enjoyable life.
Yeah.
And there are all kinds of little games about this. There was a case recently where, as I said, the head of the organization was living in a multi-million-dollar home, and they tried to tell the IRS, "Oh, well, we've got some meeting rooms downstairs. We hold, breakout sessions where we get 20 or 30 people." And the IRS went back to them and said, "That's all very nice. It all sounds really good on paper, but you're not fooling anybody.
Right.
We know what's going on here. Somebody is living in this very cushy mansion worth many millions of dollars, and yet at the same time, you're trying to say that, oh, well, we needed some space to have small group meetings." Like, no, we're not going for that. So the bottom line is the IRS is not stupid. And if they get even the slightest whiff that you are using an organization, a nonprofit organization, a charity, to do, for lack of a better term, illegal things,
Sure.
unpermitted things with these funds,
Right.
they're going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. And this happens regularly. And I suspect that whoever's doing the legal work and the financial accounting work for Archwell is savvy enough to understand the lines that cannot be crossed. So this notion that Meghan and Harry are somehow padding their lifestyle, or they're padding their travel, or whatever it is, by siphoning off 95% of the proceeds, I find that very difficult to believe.
Okay.
Very difficult to believe. Now, that does not mean that they are not deriving some peripheral benefits, as we've heard. Like when Harry decides he wants to go up to Invictus, up in Whistler or wherever it was, and there needs to be a hotel room or a suite or whatever. If Invictus pays for that, and he's the beneficiary of that, is the IRS going to come in and say, no, he should not have been in a room that cost $1,000 a night. He should only have been in a room which cost $500 a night. That would have been much more reasonable. They're not going to play little, nitpicky games like that.
Right.
But when it comes to these allegations that Archwell or Invictus or whoever, they're siphoning off 95%. That is extremely far-fetched as far as I'm concerned. And not only the IRS, I'll hasten to point out, there are other private organizations. There's one called GuideStar, and there are two or three others that actually analyze the paperwork that charities are required to file on an annual basis. And it's all public information, by the way, and other YouTubers have pulled it up and analyzed it for Archwell and so forth. You cannot pay the director of Archwell, something like $10 million annually. And oh, by the way, it's again, just hypothetically, especially if it's Meghan's freshman roommate from college. Okay, again, they're not stupid. They're going to see right through that. But the point being that I don't put a lot of stock in these allegations that somehow Archwell is a giant money laundering operation. There may be things that happen around the edges and so forth, but not 95%, just not possible.
I gotcha. That makes sense. Thank you for explaining that. That's something I get comments on a lot, and I honestly I can't speak to that. So thank you for shedding some light on that. I do recall, I'm going to say allegedly and just blanket statement that I honestly have no idea about this stuff. I just remember rumblings of, was it last year? Like supposedly like 2 million was unaccounted for or something. I'm sure the IRS has been fully aware of whatever's going on. If it's on the up and up, if it's not, I don't know. But
yeah,
I think it's anything involving Harry and Meghan is going to be questionable. That's just not the hill I'm going to die on. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see. Like, they'll have to work that out with the IRS. I'm sure everything they do is weird. So,
yeah. Well, as I said, the people giving them legal representation and legal advice, and the people that are giving them financial and accounting advice, those people don't want their tail in a crack either.
True.
So, I mean, there's a self-preservation aspect to it where those people are going to say, hey, you want me to arrange these numbers in a certain way? No, thank you. I'm not having any part of that. And it's been nice working with you. I'll send you your final bill.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff is, regardless of what you think of accountants and lawyers, they're not dumb. And as I said, they have an element of self-preservation in play as well. So
I've never heard that expression. I'm laughing about it. Their tail in a crack.
You never heard that?
What does that mean?
The comments are burning up.
Their tail in a crack. I've never heard that.
Well, I mean, if you're a animal somewhere and your tail gets stuck in a crack between two rocks and you're like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. I'm shocked that you've never heard that. Again, the comments are on fire. I can already see it.
Guys, let me know if I'm right or if John's right. Have you guys heard this? Let me know, because I just haven't. I'm not making fun. Well, I'm always making fun. No, I'm really not making fun. I've just never heard that. I've heard the step on the crack, break your mom's back.
Grab a next time you're out somewhere and you see a dog or a cat. Grab the dog or cat by the tail and see what happens.
Especially a really mean-looking dog. Yeah, just.
It doesn't have to even be mean. You could do that to a golden retriever, and right, they're on top of it really quick.
I just not heard that. Say that again. Put your tail in a crack.
Yeah, you get your tail in a crack.
Are you saying
you've never heard
crack
that?
Or crank? Crack.
Like a crack between like two big rocks, and there's a crack, and all of a sudden the tiger's tail or the monkey's tail or whatever it is stuck, and it's like, uh-oh, I got a problem. Figure out how to get this resolved.
Get my crack out of this crack.
Sure, whatever.
I feel like you made this up just to mess with me, to see if I call you on it. What are you talking?
You've lived a sheltered life, Jennifer.
Maybe I have. I think you're making stuff up and then acting like I'm the idiot because I don't know what you're talking about. John,
I can't sympathize with you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You may be the only person on the planet who's never heard that phrase.
You made me laugh so hard. My eye is watering and it's twitching. I don't know if you can see. I've never heard that in my life. As soon as we're done filming, I'm going to text everybody I know and be like, have you ever heard? Say it again. Tail in a crack? Tail in a crack.
Somebody's got their tail in a crack.
I think you're making that up. My tail is in a crack over there.
No, it's not over. It's just that you've done something, and all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, I didn't see that coming. Uh-oh. How do I get my tail out of here?
Sounds like a Looney Tunes cartoon. My tail's in a crack. Okay. Keep your tail out of some crack. Say no to crack. Okay. finally, I think we were going to end on. I want to ask you a question, and it may be an impossible question. You ready? What does Tail and the Crackman? No, I'm just kidding. What, what if anything would make Harry happy? Is there anything that could possibly make Harry happy? What would that be?
Isn't that the $64,000 question?
That's why I asked. Is there such thing?
I'm reminded of, if anybody has seen the movie Wall Street with Michael Douglas and Charlie Sheen. There's a time when Charlie Sheen gets very upset at Michael Douglas, and he yells at him and he says, "How much is enough? How many yachts can you water ski behind?" And the obvious answer is there is no answer to that. And I don't think there's an answer to Harry either. I don't think there's any level of business success that would satisfy Meghan. I don't think there's any level of acclamation or celebrity that would satisfy Meghan. I don't think there's any level of accommodation or affirmation or anything that would satisfy Harry. I think he is going to spend the rest of his life as a victim and convinced that he has been given the smaller, obsessing over the smaller sausage, obsessing over his necklace having been broken. He is conceivably the world's greatest victim. I think there was a time when I first started thinking about Harry and Meghan, and in particular Harry, because of his visa situation. There was a time when I first started looking at him and I thought to myself, the poor guy, if only someone gave him the right advice, which would be to do, no fan of Amber Heard, but credit where it's due. She has disappeared from the radar, to her great credit, I think. She may never reemerge. I don't know. She may emerge after 10 years, start getting movie roles again, whatever. No one knows. But there was a time when I thought Harry needs to do an Amber Heard. He needs to disappear from the limelight, show a little bit of contrition for the things that he said and that he wrote in the book. Stop being a thorn in the side of the British royal family. Stop suing the media all the time. Stop going to court. Stop trying to pontificate and lecture other people about the way the world should be. In other words, just stop being irritating, which in Harry's case means don't even be seen on television. Just be seen on TV, and having his picture in the newspaper is an irritant to a lot of people. My opinion on that subject has changed radically. To the tune of what I started out saying. I don't think there's anything that Harry can ever do or say, or he could cure cancer, he could end world hunger, whatever it is, he would still be a very disliked personality.
Yeah.
And I think, tragic as it is, sad as it is to say, I think that is his fate. I really do. He probably deserves that fate less than Meghan does. At least Harry has come along and said, ludicrous as it is for him to say so, oh, I would like reconciliation.
Yeah.
Meghan doesn't even go to that length. Meghan has never said, oh, I wish I could get together with my dad, and I wish things were better, and I wish I didn't, I wish I wasn't, in a Cold War with my siblings, and I wish I was better liked. I'm going to take some steps to try and improve myself.
Yeah.
But, I do not think that Harry has a bright or a happy future. at all.
Mm-mm.
As many people have said, when his children get older and they see what has happened to them in terms of the way that they appear to have been manipulated in a lot of people's view and a lot of people's opinion, I think they're going to want, Lilibet is going to want to know why she's never met her grandfather.
Yeah.
Why they've never been to the UK. On and on and on. All of these things, I think, are only going to make Harry's situation even worse. And it's tremendously sad, especially in the context when you think about what could have been.
Yeah.
What could have been. Harry, and not only what could have been, but what was. When you think about, oh, Harry, fun-loving guy, yeah, maybe he, and maybe he took his clothes off in a hot tub in Las Vegas one too many times, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. He went from that to being one of the most singularly disliked people on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
What a tragedy. What a tragedy. And as I said, my views have changed dramatically on that. I used to think there was a time, he can pull himself out of this. He just needs the right advice. He needs to keep quiet, keep a low profile, blah, blah, blah. No, that, as I sometimes like to say, that train has sailed.
That tail has crashed.
Yeah, that ship has gone off the tracks.
There's a crack, break your mother's back. I couldn't agree with you more, though, as much as it pains me to do that again. No, I do. I agree. I don't think there's anything. I was sitting here thinking as you were answering, thinking, is there anything? There's really not. The only thing that might work with Harry would be is if, and I'm not dare suggesting this become a thing, but let's say Prince William said, you know what, this is too much for me. Let's be co-kings. I wondered if that would, but no, Harry, I know. I'm not suggesting it. Harry would still find a grievance. No, because he's got 51% of the control and I've only got 49, whatever. What about Meghan? Do you think there's anything that can make her happy? You pretty much answered that. You didn't think so either.
I don't think there's anything that would really make her happy. I have encountered some people, if you believe the wisdom that says that Meghan is the ultimate narcissist, there are some YouTubers who get a lot of mileage out of talking about ways in which Meghan is allegedly narcissistic. If you believe that viewpoint, which some people hold, that she is a narcissist, I will say, based on my own experience with some people who seem to be similarly wired, that it never ends. It never ends. It does not stop. There will never be a point, in my opinion, at which Meghan says, okay, I'm happy with what I've accomplished and what I've achieved. There will always be a grievance. There will always be another rung that to climb to. There will always be somebody to, again, allegedly use for as long as they are convenient and then to dispose of. I don't think there is an end game for Meghan. I really don't. And I don't think that there is a way for her to change her opinion of herself, change her opinion of the royal family. I think that it's just going to go on and on and on. Whether we're all aware of it or not, by which I mean, let's say that she and Harry parted company, and Harry went back to the UK, as he's reported to want to do. I think Meghan would just continue on what she's doing. She would not have the platform. Let's put it this way. Had Meghan gone to the Dodgers game alone, I don't think her picture would have been put on the scoreboard.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
I don't think that the television cameras would have picked her out of the crowd. I mean, I play sort of a thought exercise sometimes, like what the question that you just asked, like, okay, well, what could really bring them down, and what could really cause them to stop doing what they're doing, and um, I think the visa situation with Harry is always a dark cloud that's out there that could get bigger and could get closer to the two of them. I do think if they made I'm not saying they have, but if they made a mistake in terms of following the rules with the finances at Archwell or Invictus or whatever, or if there was some scandal that was unearthed hypothetically that would cause people to say, like a Africa Parks type deal on a situation on steroids, or a Dr. Sophie Chanduka type situation. Right now, Harry and Meghan are, I think, suffering, not necessarily a death, but the phrase being death by 1,000 cuts. I think they're that's the way that they're struggling along right now. There would have to be a major, wound inflicted of some sort to make them really, really have some sort of a major change in direction.
I keep suspecting and wondering if it's going to somehow be their squad that takes them down. Meaning, if hypothetically they could find a concrete connection of payment from one to the other and sending out these goons to, harass Catherine the way they did, or harass creators just talking about the antics the way they have, I would think that would be pretty big, because then people could maybe see, oh, they are behind all this. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive in that.
Yeah. Well, people turn on each other. There's no guarantee that the people that supported you yesterday are going to be there for you tomorrow. They might decide that it's more interesting or more fun or whatever to all of a sudden turn and attack you. That happens in life, happens in families, it happens in friendships, unfortunately. But yeah, it's entirely conceivable that there is something nefarious that, I'm not saying it is, but it is a possibility that there could be something nefarious going on where, who knows, maybe somebody has a bone to pick with the royal family and they have helped to fund Meghan's supporters, or they've helped to fund Archwell, or whatever it is, because they know that somehow that Harry and Meghan are potentially going to be a thorn in the side of William and Catherine. I mean, the sky's the limit on how these things could unfold.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. We'll be here to break it down, right?
I guess. I mean, it's Meghan and Harry are, as I said before, fascinating to watch. At the same time, at a certain point, and I've mentioned this before, at a certain point, man, you just need to turn them off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're a YouTube watcher, a YouTube regular, and you watch Jen, and you watch Steph, and you watch Andy, and you watch Taz, and you watch Kinsey, and Cheer, and all these other people, at a certain point, YouTube picks up on that, and it just feeds and feeds and feeds more and more and more stuff. And at a certain point, just think, I got to step away. The algorithm is going to be the end of me. And
but then come back and watch my stuff. See ya.
Yes. Like, comment,
just watch my weight loss channel. Would you say?
Yeah, right. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe.
That's right. No, but I feel you. I'm about to take a vacation in real time. Maybe when this is going up, I just needed a few days of not Harry and Meghan. I just haven't had that. So I want to turn them off, turn on my brain a little bit, and then I'll come back to it. It's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking a step away. Just come back.
Oh, it's more than there's nothing wrong. It's healthy. It's healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's healthy. And I get it. They are compelling to watch because the parade just never ends. The merry-go-round of, nonsense and mistakes and all this kind of stuff just seems to never stop.
Yeah.
But at some point, I think you have to take a step back and say, I mean, I salute you, Jen, for saying, you're going to be on break.
Yeah.
So
I told my friend I cannot talk Harry and Meghan while I'm visiting her. So.
Yeah. Well, and I know other YouTubers that I've been in touch with that I've appeared on their channels, and in some cases they have just said, I got to get on an airplane, go someplace else. I can't take it. I can't take it. In some cases, it's like a 24-hour decision.
That's right.
So
since you're on a lot of YouTubers channels, do you find yourself needing to do the same once in a while? Just take a week and unplug, right?
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm speaking from my own experience.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, and I have heard other people say that. They're like, you talk a lot about Meghan and Harry. I'm like, yeah, because I am, sort of a peripheral witness in real time to all this stuff going on. And they were like, you ought to step back a little bit once in a while and worry about. Unfortunately, there's any number of other things that you can look at on YouTube, but you need to distract yourself. I recommend that to everybody. I really do.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, John, as always, thank you so much for being here. I so sincerely appreciate it. I know they love when you come on. I love when you come on. You're so much fun.
Good. Thank you. Well, it's always a privilege. I realize, you can have a lot of different people on your channel just for the price of an email or a phone call. And so I'm always flattered when you invite me to come on.
I appreciate that very much. How can we support you? What can we do? Follow you on Instagram? Is there anything else we could do?
Yeah, Witherspoon DC on Instagram.
Okay.
Stop eating meat.
Okay. Eat Dolly Parton cheesecakes. Yeah.
Yeah, eat Dolly Parton cheesecake. Stop the use of corporate jets.
Oh, okay, great.
Everybody needs to take throw your car in the garbage, take the bus. No,
wear a bunch of beige for no reason. Okay, great.
Yeah, right. Support. What is it?
Are you trying to get us to buy Meghan's candles? What?
Yes, support. Meghan has 2 college funds going.
That's right.
And she
needs not for the kids, but for her own wardrobe outfits or something.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah. No, I sincerely, I always appreciate the opportunity to come on, and I'm always grateful for the comments that people leave. It's nice to know that people are interested in listening and thinking and all that kind of thing. So
yes. Yep. No, we appreciate it very much. Thanks for all your thoughtful answers. And as they do more crazy things, I'll be bugging you soon to come back. So
fair enough.
All right. Thanks so much. Have the best day.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.